Bobbie, how's your husband doing after his surgery?
He's little Jack Horner sitting in the corner there in his easy chair. He's doing well overall.
Good to hear.
Yeah, thanks for asking. So we're not actually getting sound with the little intro. Can everyone hear me? Yeah. So not sure. There are a few little glitches this morning, so we'll see.
Okay, I think I fixed the issue, so I'll start playing it again. Sorry for the technical difficulties, everyone.
Yeah, no worries.
Connectra creates opportunities for people living with disabilities by providing information, resources, and programming geared towards greater inclusion and quality of life. Check out some of the programs we offer through our online learning platform, Connect Together, including our Service Mondays, where we highlight a local organization or initiative. Wednesday Chair Yoga with Bobbie Seale-Cobiskey. Thursday Adapted Fitness with Megan Williamson. Friday Rotating Dance Classes hosted by Janice Lawrence and Joanne Cuff. And other initiatives, including presentations by the Disabled Independent Gardeners Association's Growable program, and our Perspective series. Check out our updated programs calendar on our website, connectra.org, or find us on Facebook at Connectra Society.
Thank you, Bobbie.
Awesome, thank you. So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to an adapted seated yoga practice. And so would like to give a shout out to the Disability Foundation Connectra for providing this opportunity for us to come together and practice yoga. So I like to think of the yoga as India's gift, not only to the West, but to the world. And so here we are. And so I'd like to invite you, as always, to begin by finding a comfortable sitting position. And so it can be challenging for a nervous system to calm down if we're uncomfortable in our bodies. And then when you're ready, an invitation to take your hands to your heart center. And so if this placement of your hands makes you lose your balance, an invitation to find another placement for your hands. And so a gentle reminder that we never forfeit balance to come into a closer movement. And then as ready, lift your heart to your hands, bow your head to your heart. And to take a moment to allow yourself to consciously enter into the present. Setting aside whatever concerns, worries you may have had before the yoga practice for the duration, knowing that you can come back to that after the class. And then as ready, draw up your chin towards your chest. Gradually blink your eyes open, and then arms, wherever feels most comfortable for you. So it might be down by your side, a little higher. Shake your hands vigorously. Woohoo. Nice. So today is, from my humble perspective, is a special day, evening. It's actually the I don't know if it's the only full moon in December, but I think it's the last, I guess it would be, it's the last full moon of 2022. And I think it's called the cold moon. And so in the yoga tradition that I was taught in, on a full moon, we're meant to be doing a more restorative practice, so less vigorous. And so in part to honor that, I'd like to just share a little piece from a book that I just acquired. It's called the author is Richard Wagamese. Hope I'm pronouncing his name properly. And it's called Embers, One Ojibwe's Meditations. And so the little piece goes like this. There's a beautiful little visual of a full moon and snow-capped mountains and of course trees. And so in the dark depths of long winter nights, spirits slumber too and allow their stories to be told. These are the storytelling moons. Elders and storytellers who have been given tales to carry speak softly, reverently, and the people hear them. The people do not merely listen, they hear. To hear is to have a spiritual, mental, emotional, or physical reaction to the words. Sometimes, at very special times, you have all four reactions and are changed forever. Share stories, fill cold nights with the warmth of your connections, your relationships, hear each other and be made more. That is the power of storytelling. And I see, is that a yawn I see already? Sally. So I go, sit back in my chair closer to the fireplace. And so,
Bobbie, it's Kim. I would highly recommend getting that book. It's a beautiful book.
I have it actually for the program that we're going to be doing in the coming weeks, months. Thank you, though.
It's a Canadian author.
Right. Do you know how to pronounce his last name, love?
Okay, so Ojibwe. What was the name again? Because I'm getting this person mixed up with Val Kilmer.
Yeah. Richard
Wagamese. Yeah, Wagamese. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's called Embers.
Unfortunately, he passed away recently, but he wrote he moved near Kamloops, but he wrote some amazing stuff. Yeah.
Wow. Appreciate you sharing that. I had no idea.
He's an Indigenous fellow.
Great. Okay. So, my lovely tech host today is subbing for Kosar. He's away, and just a bit of housekeeping. She's leaving, and so I'm now your tech host and your yoga therapist. So here we go. An invitation to, at this time, find a place where you're supporting your own spine, if possible. Move away from the back of the chair now so that you feel you're sitting forward on your sits bones. And so it might be that you are a wheelchair user and your chair is wonderfully set up in a way that's really supportive for you and helps you to sit upright. And so if you need the back of the chair for support today, honor that. One of the things I like to do occasionally is roll up a yoga mat and place that along my spine. And so what that does is help counter some of the collapsing that some of us do in our chest, shoulders, so on. And so an invitation now to soften your gaze. And so your eyes move downwards, 3 or 4 feet in front of you. That can be calming for our nervous system. Ground down through your sits bones. So maybe notice where your bum and your thighs are in contact with your seat. Our Buddha belly is soft. Spine is long. Roll your shoulders back and down. Relax your arms by your side or wherever feels most comfortable for you. Lift up through the crown of your head. You might imagine you have a thread on the top of your head and it's pulling you up to the sky. Our chin is level with the floor, tucked in slightly. Allow your facial muscles to soften and our attention moves inward. So notice your alignment, knees, ankles, hips, shoulders stacked over hips. And then if you'd like, taking this moment to bring a gentle awareness to your breath. So maybe noticing that as we inhale, belly expands. On exhale, belly moves in. An invitation to place one hand on your Buddha belly, the other on your heart center. And maybe noticing the pattern of movement of your breath between your upper torso and your belly. And then see if you can begin to extend your breath. When we extend our breath, it engages the relaxation response, allowing us to let go of holding, stress, and tension. At any point, if you notice your mind gets distracted and wants to wander off, know that that's okay. That's the nature of our mind. Simply bring your awareness back to your breath. And lastly, see if you can add a quality of softness to your breath. So you might imagine that you just tasted something delicious. Or if you have a fur kid, you might imagine that you're petting your fur kid. And see if you can bring that same softness to areas of your body that you feel are tight or knotted. So our breath is long and smooth and soft as we breathe in and as we breathe out. And just for a few more breaths, or as long as feels comfortable, keeping this simple breathing technique flowing. If it's challenging to focus on the breath, an invitation to explore the sounds around you. So I can hear the little creaks and cracks in the Panama cabin that my husband and I share with our little bunny rabbit. I can hear the sound of our old fridge. And maybe noticing the gentle tone of my voice. In a loving way, bring your awareness back to your breath. Our old friend, our breath. So wherever you are in your breath cycle, allow your breath to come back to its natural rhythm. And so your natural rhythm, maybe observing the rise and fall of your chest and your belly. And draw up your chin towards your chest and gradually blink your eyes. And so we are waking up, not falling asleep. Waking up, not falling asleep. And so that said, if you do happen to fall asleep in your yoga practice, it's not rocket science. It means that you're tired. And so when you're ready, arms by your sides, spiral your palms open, and then shake your hands. And so I'm going to keep my hands up pretty high so that everybody can see my hands. So if you have a heart condition, I'm going to encourage you, however, to keep your hands lower. Alternatively, if it feels okay for you, reaching up a little higher. And so we can imagine that we're waving to our ancestors. So past, present, and future. And then coming forward a little, waving to our ancestors. So Uncle George, my dog Bubbles. And reaching up one more time, waving to our ancestors. And so I often share the story about the woman I had in my class for a few years who lived to be well over 100. We were doing this practice one day. She said, I feel like my ancestors are waving back. And just like you're shaking water off your hands, let your arms slow down by your side. Wherever feels most comfortable for you. And then when you're ready, if you'd like, reaching up one more time. So reach up as high as feels comfortable for you. And this time on your exhales, you lower your arms, make an audible sound. So it might be a ha or a big yawn. Ah. Nice. And so let's repose. Ground through your feet. Center and ground through the soles of your feet. And so we want to keep our connection with Mother Earth. And we tend to start losing that. Speaking of Mother Earth, Bunny's on the, he's hopping around. So don't be surprised if you see a little bunny rabbit. It's not an apparition. He's the real deal. So feet firmly planted on your footrest or on the floor. Sits bones are sharp on the chair. You may do a little bum dance. Notice where your bum and your thighs are in contact with your seat. Our Buddha belly is soft, spine is long. Roll your shoulders back and down. Lift up through the crown of your head. So imagine that thread pulling you up to the sky. Hello, bum bum. Our chin's level with the floor, tucked in slightly. So it might be helpful to take a finger or two to your chin. Imagine a turtle. And from here, I'd like to invite you to rub your hands together. So warm up your hands, energize your hands. And so there's research that shows our hands are not only connected to our heart, but to our mind as well. Actually, our hands are arms. And then take your hands apart a little bit. So you might notice a little warmth or heat between your hands. And so rub your hands together again. This time as you're rubbing your hands together, I'd like you to notice where in your body you're holding stress or tension. And see if you can take some of that loving energy from your hands to that area. And so if you're blessed with a yoga buddy, the yoga buddy could perhaps rub their hands together and then with your invitation, place their hands wherever you'd like. Setting an intention of loving kindness. So I read a quote the other day, kindness is the new cool. And then rub your hands together again. And this time I'd like you to notice some other place in your body that might need a little extra love or attention. So placing your hand or your hands there. And release. Shake out if you like. And so repose, make sure your feet are placed evenly on your footrests or on the floor. Sits bones sharp on the chair, spine long, shoulders back and down. Lift up through the crown of your head. And so arms are relaxed by your side or wherever feels most comfortable for you. And from here, we'll come into practice, release the tension in our neck and shoulders. So when you're ready, bring your chin gently towards your chest. And then moving your head up and down as if nodding yes. So when you look up, maybe your eyes meet where the ceiling meets the wall. And so I'm going to encourage you to keep that lovely breath awareness throughout your yoga practice. And so when we move with our breath, magical things happen. And then as ready, bring your chin back to neutral. And then bring your ear towards your shoulder and then moving from side to side. Maybe noticing how it feels to tuck your chin in slightly. And as ready, bring your head back to neutral. And then turn a soft gaze, looking just past your shoulder. Pause, and then visualize moving your chin up and down slightly. Imagination is powerful. Move your head back through center, turn a soft gaze, looking just past your opposite shoulder. Pause. Visualize moving your chin up and down slightly. And leaning back at center. And so we've moved our cervical spine, our neck through its range of motion. Now we're going to move down along our spine. And so, of course, we know our spines matter. So we'll transition into practice called cat and cow. So I'd like to invite you, if possible, to bring your feet a little wider than outer hip bone distance. So knees tracking over your ankles. It's okay to have your toes turned out a little. And then placing your hands on your thighs. When you're ready, on inhale, as you draw your hands in towards your hips, arch your back. On exhale, as you slide your hands towards your knees, round your back, draw your belly in towards your spine. And so if you're working with a yoga buddy, as you exhale, and place your hands gently on your belly, encouraging belly in towards the spine. And so inhale, arch, lift your heart, lift your throat. On exhale, round your back. As you round your back, draw your belly in towards your spine. And so for a few more breaths, or as long as feels comfortable, an invitation to keep this gentle warm up for your spine flowing. And so I'm going to turn my chair sideways, and that will give you a better visual. What's actually going on with the spine, but please keep your chair where it is. And so move in a way that feels natural for you. So natural that your movements and your breath become one. And then as ready, come on back to a neutral spine. Relax your arms down by your side, or wherever feels most comfortable for you. And take a moment. And from here, an invitation to, as if you're reaching to pick something up off the floor, holding on to the underside of your chair, move from side to side. And so it might feel good to inhale to one side, exhale to the other side. If that breathing pattern doesn't work for you, of course, breathe in whatever way you can. Whatever works for you. And so shoulder stacked over shoulder. And then when you're ready, come on back to your neutral spine. Rest your hands on your lap. And again, take a moment. And from here, we'll come into a gentle twist. So sliding our hands in towards our heads. So this is a gentle twist. We're not going to our full range of motion. And so you might notice that sliding our hands in towards our hips feels pretty normal or natural. And so this sliding our hands along our thighs helps to increase our proprioceptive awareness. And so, of course, if you have maybe nerve pain, you might just hover your hands above your thighs if you're super sensitive. And slowly come on back to a neutral spine. Okay, so from here, an invitation to tap your fingers. And so you might explore tapping from your pinkies to your thumbs. And so focusing on what we can do. And then maybe air piano. So we're getting the synovial fluid, Mother Nature's WD-40 flowing into all the little joints in our hands. And then when you're ready, palms face up. Take your fingertips to touch your thumbs. And so they might touch, they might not. So as long as we're moving in that direction, we're engaging all the little muscles in our hands. And so stretch your palms, fingertips to your thumbs. Stretch, fingertips to your thumbs. So most of us use our hands way more than our feet. And stretch, fingertips to your thumbs. And then when you're ready, I'd like to invite you to mindfully, and so circle your wrists in one direction. And so I'd like you to take a look at your hands and maybe slow the movement down. And so we can do these movements without even thinking about it. However, I'd like to invite you to explore how it feels to be more thoughtful about the movement. Slow it down. And then maybe circle in the opposite direction. And I'd like you to imagine that you're moving your hands through water. So water is feminine energy, yin, cooling. And if it's helpful, you might imagine the ocean. And so our hands, denote arms, our ability to receive and to give. And so you might imagine the waves of the ocean. And it can be interesting to close our eyes as we practice these gentle movements. And slowly going back to stillness. Rest your hands on your lap. Invitation to close your eyes softly if that feels okay for you, or soften your gaze, and to take a moment to reflect on the movement that we just did. And then moving on. Okay. And so I think from here we'll do the shoulder movement. So rolling your shoulders up, back, and down. So this is not meant to be a big scrunch up towards your ears. These are gentle movements flowing with your breath. And then reverse the direction. Maybe alternate from side to side. And so now I want you to imagine that you're in a, well, I don't know, hot springs. And we're going to go for a yoga swim. It might be heated pool. Open up your armpits. And you can move as quickly or slowly as you'd like for this movement. And then maybe backstroke. Yo, Lane. Excuse me, love. So Lane, my husband, just had a knee replacement, and I'm keeping an eye on him. And he's busy snoring away in his chair in the corner, so hopefully that's not disruptive. So here's breaststroke. I'm just going to take half a sec to. Hey, guys. Sweetie,
Oh,
you're snoring really loud for my class.
sorry.
It's okay. I'm glad that you're rested. And how about side stroke? Whoa. And my new fave, butterfly. Good stuff. Let's do a little shaker. So where shall we go from here? So I like to refer to the poses and the movements and so on as my yoga toys and my yoga toy box. And so I don't really like the word tools. And the word tools, the implication is that somehow we need fixing, and that's certainly not the place I am coming from. And so yoga toys. So today, a gentle reminder to think of the movements and poses as a buffet, and that you choose whatever feels most comfortable for you, whatever works best for you. So I'll do my best to give a few choices for each movement and pose and so on. And so if for whatever reason it hurts, I'd like to invite you to take a moment to maybe notice, is the pain that you're feeling, is it pain or is it discomfort from moving into places that maybe you're not accustomed to moving into so much, maybe places that we've forgotten we have places. So is it a muscle ache or is it actual joint pain? So joint pain is a no-fly zone, no go. And so you come out of the pose or the movement and we find an alternative for you. Or it might be that you come back to your breath, and that's your practice. So if we're focused on our breath, we're practicing yoga. And so let's repose. So I'd like you to ground through your feet, center and ground through the soles of your feet. And push down through one foot and push down through the opposite foot. So it might be an energetic pushing down. And maybe notice, can you feel one foot more than the other? Right, sits bones are sharp on the chair, spine is long, shoulders back and down. And lift up through the crown of your head. Tuck your chin in slightly to release the back of your neck. And so when you're ready, an invitation now to reach your arm up. So in line with your shoulder, if that feels okay, not higher than your shoulder. If that feels a little too intense, maybe back off a little. And then spiral your palm open. With a soft bend in your elbow, extend your arm away from you. And let's be back at center. Palm face down, release. So other side, reach up, spiral your palm open, moving with grace and ease, extend your arm away from you. On inhale, meet back at center, palm face down, release. So let's continue the gentle movement. This time, when we bring our arm to the side, if it feels okay for your neck, I'd like you to gaze past your middle finger and turning your gaze sideways. Alternatively, if that is bothersome for your neck, keep a soft gaze forward. And in addition to that, I'd like to add a sound to the movement. And so the sound is the sound shh. So of course we know sound has a vibration, and the sound shh can help with, if you're someone who experiences spasms. I have an intention tremor. I find that it helps with that. And so here we go. Begin again, fin again, reach up. Spiral your palm open. So you're gazing forward softly or turning your head, gazing past your middle finger, extend your arm away from you, making a shh sound. On inhale, meet back at center, palm face down, release. Other side, reach up, spiral your palm open, exhale, shh. Inhale, come back center, palm face down, release. So let's do one more time on each side, flowing with your breath, reach up, spiral your palm open, exhale, shh. Inhale, come back center, palm face down, release. Last time, reach up, palm face up, moving with grace and ease, extend your arm away from you. Inhale, come back center, palm face down, release. Relax your arms by your side or wherever feels most comfortable for you. Take a moment. Notice how's your breath. Maybe noticing any subtle sensations. And so from here, I'd like you to take your arm out to the side, spiral your palm open, and then rotate your palm down. So rotate down so thumb moves towards the floor. And then maybe reaching up a little higher if that feels okay for you. And then as if you're moving your hand through honey, release your hand, your arm down, palm face down. And so whatever we do on one side, we do on the other if possible. Arm by your side, spiral your palm open, rotate down. So I do these movements just about every day. When I wake up and I sit in my chair, it's gentle movement. So hopefully it'll move through all the major joints today, gently, of course. And then reaching up a little higher. And then palm face down as if you're moving your hand through the honey. So arms by your sides, spiral your palms open, take your fingertips to your shoulders, wherever you can reach comfortably. And then I want you to imagine you're drawing circles with your elbow points on the screen in front of you. And see if you can create a little Buddha smile, a little half smile. So when we smile, it releases saliva. So we want a nice juicy mouth and juicy body. So we all know what it's like to have a dry mouth. We've been to the dentist. And then reverse. And you're more than welcome to do one arm at a time if that feels better for you. And release. And we'll shake out. Whew. And take a moment to feel your work. How's your breath? Notice any subtle sensations. Trust that the sensations are there. So it's not going to be a rocket ship across the sky. So can you name the sensation? Is it a bit of heat, coolness, energy? Maybe it's fatigue. And so from here, I'd like to come into a practice to help us find our balance. So we've warmed up our neck and shoulders, moved down along the spine. And so this is, sorry, there's something came up on the screen that I wasn't expecting. So sitting up nice and tall. So a gentle reminder, if you know that balance is a challenge for you, I'd like you to make sure that you have whatever device you need to keep you stable in your chair. And so if possible, bring your feet a little wider than outer hip bone distance, knees tracking over ankles. It can be helpful sometimes to have a bolster or block, something to keep the knees from rotating inwards. And so it might be today that you're visualizing movement. So imagination is powerful. So take your hands into your hips. So it might be palms open. If you have wrist, thumb pain, discomfort, having soft fists might be helpful. Alternatively, taking hold of the underside of the chair. Okay, so here we go. Inhale, lengthen your spine. And so we can create space between our vertebrae. And then either visualizing moving forward a little or actually coming forward a little, hinging from your hips. And so it's not about seeing how far down we can go. We just come to that just right amount of effort and ease. And then rock back up. And so in your own time and rhythm, keeping this gentle movement flowing. And so maybe noticing that sometimes when we come into a forward fold, our chin wants to jet up. So tuck your chin in slightly, and that will help to release your neck. And so there's something about this gentle movement that our nervous system likes. So could it be that because I think it's about 75% we're made up of water, or that we were in the womb. And then come on back to a neutral spine. Relax your arms by your side or wherever feels most comfortable for you. Rest your hands on your lap. And take a moment, notice how's your breath. Notice any subtle sensations. And so from here, let's come into a movement I like to call stirring the pot. And so if it feels okay, place your hands in your hip creases and then circle your heart forward and circle back. So this movement can feel a little strange if you're not accustomed to it. So as always, encourage you to move with your breath. And so your circles might be smaller, larger than mine. So you move in your own time and rhythm. And we all have our own rhythm. And as you begin to feel your lower back and your hips soften and release, and see if you can go a little deeper. So shoulders move towards our knees. Of course, we're not going to come all the way down. And then as ready, begin to move in the opposite direction. So heads fall in the socket. We can move in both directions. And so bring a gentle awareness to the space in front of you. Bring your awareness to the space beside you. Notice how that makes you feel. Bring your awareness to the space above you. And an invitation especially to bring your awareness to the space behind you. And to trust, so moving away from me to we, to trust that we are being supported. And slowly make your way back to a neutral spine. Relax your arms by your side or wherever it feels most comfortable for you. And take a moment to let your breath settle. Your belly soften. A soft Buddha belly, not an easy place to get to in our culture. And so moving on, let's repose. So ground through your feet, centering ground through the soles of your feet. So some of you might be familiar with Matthew Sanford. He's a para. He trains and teaches, trains teachers to teach yoga for people living with disabilities. And I kind of did a brief training with him in Minneapolis. And one of the things that stuck with me that he said is that we have to go down to go up. So that makes total sense to me. We have to go down to go up. So I'd like you to push down through one foot, push down through the opposite foot. So it might be an energetic pushing down. You might notice that you can feel one foot more than the other. And our spine is long, shoulders back and down. Lift up through the crown of your head. Imagine that thread on top of your head pulling you up to the sky. Our chin is level with the floor, tucked in slightly. And so I'd like to move into a practice here called breath of joy before we move into sun salutations. And so breath of joy is just what it sounds like. It's a happy breath. It's really an energizing breath. And so it includes adding arm movements to our breath. And so the breath is 3 inhales through your nose. So we're sniffing in through our nose unless you're congested or you have an obstruction. So if you do, breathe in whatever way you can. And so after the 3rd inhale through your nose, the exhale is just a nice big letting go, big exhale. And so we'll add arm movements. I want you to make sure that there's nothing close by that potentially you could whack your hands on. And so here we go. Breath of joy. Inhale. Inhale. Arms to the side. Inhale. And drop. So 2 more rounds. Inhale. 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 And breath of joy. Inhale. 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 And whew. Okay. And so you can close your eyes momentarily and just see if you notice a little energy between your hands. And so no right or wrong. Maybe explore moving your arms or your hands a little further apart and closer together. And this little shake up. Okay, so let's get set up for sun salutation. So I'd like you to place your arms by your side or wherever it feels most comfortable for you. So come into your mountain pose. Take your hands to your heart center. Reach up to the sky, gentle back arch, so bend from the shoulders. Hinging from the hips, come forward with a flat back. So you might take hold of the underside of your chair. That's helpful. Tuck your chin in slightly, so forward fold. Downward facing dog. So for this version, let's rest our forearms on our lap. And then pushing down through your inner heel. So again, might be an energetic pushing down. Baby cobra, place your hands on your thighs. Draw your elbows in towards your torso. Lift your heart, lift up through the crown of your head. Cat and cow. On exhale, as you slide your hands towards your knees, round your back, draw your belly in towards your spine. So one more round of cat and cow. Inhale, arch. Lift your heart, lift your throat. Be careful not to throw your head back, however. On exhale, round your back. As you round your back, slide your hands towards your knees, chin in. Moving with your breath, come back to a neutral spine. From here, we'll come into a seated version of Warrior One. And so if possible, you need to be seated forward in your chair, forward fairly, quite a bit for this. So if possible, tuck your toes under the front of your chair. Might be that you're visualizing the movement. So please don't underestimate the power of imagination. So energy moves where our breath and our thoughts go. If you'd like to add the opposite arm, reach your arm up to the sky. So it might be that the elbow is bent, palm face forward, reaching up, Warrior One. Float your arm down. Step your foot forward. Hinging from the hips, forward fold. Spiral your palms open, soft bending your elbows, nothing rigid. Reach up to the sky. Take a look between your palms. If it doesn't create tension in your neck, then return your gaze on the horizon. Maybe our hands come together in prayer down through to the heart. So bowing our head towards our heart gives us a little nerve flussing for our neck. So let's practice one more round. Into your mountain pose. Take your hands to your heart center. Reach up to the sky, gentle back arch. Hinging from the hips, forward fold. Take hold of the underside of your chair wherever you need to for stability. Lead with your heart, not the head. Downward facing dog. So for this version of downward facing dog, you can do the one with your forearms resting on your lap. Or if you'd like to explore reaching your arms on a diagonal, hands reach maybe where the ceiling meets the wall. Baby cobra, place your hands on your thighs, draw your elbows in. Lift your heart, lift up through the crown of your head. Cat and cow. On exhale, as you round your back, slide your hands towards your knees, chin in. Inhale, arch, lift your heart, lift your throat. On exhale, round your back. As you round your back, draw your belly in towards your spine. Moving with your breath, come back to a neutral spine. So we'll come into Warrior One on the other side. So if possible, tuck your toes underneath the front of your chair. Reach your opposite arm up to the side if you'd like, or up above, pardon me. Warrior One. Float your arm down. Hinging from the hips. Oh, step your foot forward, hinging from the hips. Gather, imagine beautiful sunlight radiating all around you. Gather that light. It's a symbol of the light that's always inside us. And maybe bring your hands together in prayer down through to the heart. So I'd like you to imagine a waterfall. Now relax your arms down by your side or wherever feels most comfortable for you, and take a moment to let your breath settle, your belly soften. And so moving on, I'd like to actually just do a little bit of body tapping. So it is winter, it's cooler out, so little love taps. Okay, so, wow, looking at the time, it's almost 1 o'clock already. So I'd like you to bring your arms out to the side, spiral your palms open. Cross one elbow over the other. So might be elbow pointed crease. Maybe you're taking hold of your elbows. Whatever feels okay for you. Take hold of your shoulders. See if you can walk your fingertips back. Drop your chin towards your chest. And here it's okay to let your shoulders round towards your front body. And this is going to be an I love me bear hug. And because I love me, I can love all of you. So I'd like to invite you to extend your arms out to the side. Let's imagine that we're sending everyone, loved ones, friends, community, maybe even globally, just a big, energetic, beautiful bear hug. And then when you're ready, remember which arm was on top. I'd like you to bring the opposite arm to elbow point to crease, or maybe taking hold of your elbows. Hands on your shoulders, walk your fingers back, drop your chin in towards your chest, let your shoulders round towards your front body. And this is an I love me bear hug number 2. Breathe into the back of your heart. And then when you're ready, spread your wings, float your arms down, a little shake. So I actually didn't realize what time it was until just a few moments ago. So we're actually going to come down off the mountain into your final relaxation. And so I like to think of that as the dessert part. And so feel free to adjust your lighting, make sure you have what you need to stay warm. I made sure I had a pair of my favorite socks nearby. If you have the ability to recline in your chair, go for it. A little blanket on the lap or a little bit of weight can help with fatigue, can feel grounding. And so often I'll have a little blanket nearby. Okay. And so invitation to find a comfortable sitting position. Or it might be you have a super duper chair, you're able to recline in it. Alternatively, if you're in a regular chair, if you place it up against the wall, you might be able to put something, a yoga mat or something along your spine and just lean back. Making sure your head and neck is supported. And so an invitation to close your eyes softly, if that feels comfortable for you, or soften your gaze. Now rest your hands, palms face up or down as desired. So soft palms, soft Buddha belly, the area between our navel and our pubic bone. Quiet breath. Allow your breath to reflect the pose. Serenity pose. Relax your jaw. Unclench your teeth. Let there be a little space between your teeth. Soften your lower jaw. Soften around your temples. Soften the area between your eyebrows, wide forehead. Silently, if you like, on inhale, saying let. On exhale, go. Inhale, let. Exhale, go. It's challenging to quiet the mind, placing your hands on your belly and bringing our awareness to our breath. Really helpful. So without changing anything, bring your awareness back to your breath. Thank your body. Thank your body again. Our bodies are the best home that our mind will ever have. And now see if you can begin to deepen your inhale, lengthen your exhale. Wiggle your fingers and toes, hands and feet, waking up. Rub the tips of your fingers with your thumbs and come on up seated comfortably to finish your yoga practice. And so, thank you. Notice how you feel before and after your yoga practice. Questions or feedback, I always love to hear from you. So I'm going to hang out for a little bit, and feel free if you'd like to join me for a few moments. And yeah, so the teacher in me honors and appreciates the teacher in each of you.
Thank you, Bobbie. I have a question.
All right. So I'm just going to move in a little closer. Yeah.
Well, I actually have two questions. When I was doing one of the stretches, I felt a little tingling in my arm this time, which is a little unusual. So I don't know if that's good, bad, or indifferent, but I'm fine. My other question is, I love dessert. So
Love what?
And I love dessert.
Oh.
And I especially love your dessert. So my question is, could we once in a while expand it to do a bit longer of a guided meditation? Because for me, it's very like, even if it's like 7 minutes or so, I feel like I can, it feels good. And
sure.
I don't know what other people think.
Okay. Well, I'll speak to your first question. That's okay. So if you're feeling tingling, that's an indication that you might want to back off a little bit. So yeah, tingling, back off a little bit. Could be you're pressing on a nerve or something. So that would be my response to that. Just maybe back off, notice how that feels, or you might come out of the pose or the movement altogether and see if you can come back into it a little more gently or slowly. And so frequently, I think it happens with the hands and the arms if we're in too deep. And the final relaxation, yeah, I was blown away when I saw that it was 5-2. I be rating it in sometimes, and being on a linear time kind of frame is a little bit challenging. But it's interesting that you should bring that up about the final relaxation, because my teachers would suggest the two hardest poses in yoga are mountain pose and the final relaxation. And the final relaxation, because it's difficult, it's challenging for a lot of folks to be still in our culture. I mean, most of us are going a million miles an hour. And so when we're Shavasana, serenity pose is asking us to be still. And so that's lovely that you're asking for more. sometimes in a yoga class, people, it's and Shiva, or when the final relaxation comes up, they're beating feet, they're out their door.
Wow, because that's for me, that's, you're right, like the icing on the cake, sort of just to quiet the nerves and just take the time to just to give our nervous system that rest, because we are I don't know about other people, but I have thoughts too. Well, everyone does, right? The thoughts that flood, and then I'm just sort of feeling, just letting them go, and then we're done. So it's not, I just like that.
Yeah.
If we could do a little longer, but I don't know what other people, what you've tried or.
Yeah, also you always have the option of staying in it too, just because I have a timeline in terms of ending the class.
Right.
You're totally chill. I mean, that's not an easy place to get to. Just stay there.
Yeah, you're right. I never thought of that. Geez, I could just stay there. You're right, because it does feel.
Oh, for sure.
It really calms the nervous system.
Yeah, and it's essential. It's really important. Really, really important. Give yourself that. Good for you. Nice to see you, Kim.
Nice to see you too. Nice to see all of you.
Yeah. So
will we see you next Wednesday? I guess we're still on for a bit until we get closer to, it's December 7th. So probably, will it be the 14th, 2 more Wednesdays, 14th and 21?
Have to look at all the dates because
you've got all kinds of things going on.
Well, a lot of different classes, and everybody's timeline is different in terms of when they're going to shut things down for Christmas. But my intention is to teach, as long as Connectra's up and running, I'll be here. So at least another week. Yeah. Right. So I see there are a few more people still here. So I'm wondering, did you want to say anything, Sally? I noticed, like, I didn't mean to laugh at you, but I noticed, like, right at the beginning, you yawned, and I thought that's so cool. It's like, how wonderful is that? Most of us are like, fly into the yoga class and it takes a few minutes to ground, and Sally's like 2 minutes. She's already yawning, which is an indication that her nervous system is becoming more balanced. So.
I think the sound of your voice makes me start yawning.
Oh.
Not in a bad way, in a good way.
Well, my teachers in California, somebody said there that my voice is like a drug. And I know it's when my husband fell in love with me, was the sound and the tone of my voice. So there you go. But
it is, yeah.
Thank you.
But I wanted to say I really like the reading, when you.
Oh, glad.
I think I haven't been coming as consistently, but it seemed like you had kind of dropped that for a while. And I really like when you had a little reading at the beginning. I also really like it at the end when you finish it by saying, sometimes you say peace, peace, peace.
Yeah.
Or, the teacher in me honors the teacher in you. I like that finishing because it's sort of like a really nice, end point.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well,
I agree with Sally. It's like the meta at the end. You were doing it this time too, like the meta, and I just kind of like giving everyone a slow hug, and you did that.
Yeah,
I like that too.
Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering, if that appeals to the poet in you too, Sally.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Yeah. And Teresa, how are you, love? Is that how
well, thank you. The class went very quickly, like you say.
Yeah.
It was over in a flash, so it was quite enjoyable.
Oh, I'm so glad. Where are you located, if you don't mind my asking?
I'm on the island.
Oh, cool.
Cowichan Valley.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very foggy here right now, but.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I still have snow. I haven't been out much, but.
Yeah, it makes it challenging for sure.
But it's good. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Well, I really enjoyed being here with y'all. I actually am dependent on transit, and I live in a rural community, and the bus only comes once every 2 hours.
Oh,
Yeah, so I'm gonna head in and get here. We're just doing a tabletop Christmas tree, and so I'm gonna go fetch that and come back and spend some time with my husband and Bunny, and so enjoy the day and this beautiful full moon tonight. I love full moon.
Wow, that'd be
Wondering
beautiful.
what
Thank-
phase the moon was at.
Oh,
Yeah, it's gonna be beautiful.
I think it's called the cold moon.
yeah.
Oh,
It
Yeah,
feels
it's,
like it too.
yeah, it's the last full moon of the year. So
thank you. That even though I can't see it, I'm glad to know.
yeah, for sure. The energy is there. Well, take
Thank
care.
you.
Thank you
again.
all. Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.
You.
Bye.